Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel PyBrain, where, as you could tell from the name of the PyBrain channel, I was inspired by combining Python and the word brain together. Because, part of the idea is you want to get into the mindset of programming very well in Python, to the point where it becomes instinctively or second nature to program in Python. But actually, as we progress through these tutorials, I hope that you see that Python is very user friendly compared to other languages. It's also very powerful, and that's the reason why I am I'm a big fan of it. And honestly, I actually used to hate programming before I discovered Python. And so Python actually was like the kind of my way of basically going down the rabbit hole. I would interpret it as in programming. And so I hope you guys also have something similar experiences. And so let's get started. So as you could tell from my other videos, I have a different background here. I'm using a different computer. I actually have like many computers at home laying around, but this one here is my laptop. So I'm going to go here to my programs folder, and I'll make a directory here. I'll call it tutorials. I'll call it Python tutorials. So in Linux, and I assume also in Mac, you can make folders using these commands. So this is a Linux computer. I'm sorry, operating system. That's more exact. So let me go in here. So you could tell that this is the path to where I'm located. Running ls shows nothing, so it's empty. And so I want to show you guys how to do functions in Python, which is a very key concept. So we'll go back to the nano editor, and let's call this file function ex, for example, .py. Alright, so in here, so first off, you might be wondering, well, what is a function? So a function in Python is this type of construct, I would describe it. So it's a construct that allows you to perform an operation. And the nice thing about it is that you might be thinking, well, if we want to perform that operation, we should just do it one time. But what if you needed to perform that operation many times? Okay, and so that's where the function comes in, and that'll let you achieve that. Okay, so let's say we had okay, so let's create a scenario. Okay, so we want to perform some operation function on some data. Okay, so the general way that this is, I'll write function example with a hash. So this is a comment. So in Python, functions always start with this keyword def, which is like define some function. Then you give your function a name. So we'll call this function, we'll call it my function. And then this has a parentheses and a colon. Okay, so I'm going to indent the code. So once you indent the code, then you can write here your lines of code. So let's say that my function takes in a number. So let's say the number that it takes in is we'll call it x. Takes in this value x, and we'll define another variable called the y, and we'll say that it's equal to x squared, and then we'll return value y. So the way we see how it runs is, let's print my function with a value of x equal to, let's say 2. So we know 2 squared is 4. Now we run the function, this file, function ex.py, and you can see as soon as I click enter, we get the output here, equal to 4. Let's say that we wanted to, instead of x being a single value, let's say we had a list of values. So x is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So if this is now the case, then once we run, okay, so actually we can't feed the whole list into this function. What we could do is say for I in x, so for every item in list x, which are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we will print my function, and here we put I, because I is going to be either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. And so we want to feed those values individually into my function. We'll save it and then run it again. Okay, so now you see the output. 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, is 4 squared, 5 squared, 6 squared. So it worked out. Yeah, so just to summarize, a function is a set of operations that you want to perform some number of times. And you can see in this example, we basically took a value x, we created another variable in the function, did some operation on the input, and we returned the value y. And notice that these lines of code are indented. So in Python you have to indent all the code that's inside the function, has to be indented. And this example also uses a for loop, and we iterate within the list that we defined x as those values shown up there. Alright, so I hope you guys learned something new, and make sure you like the video and subscribe if you want to see more content. Alright, thank you guys.